Jackson down in Gainesville said, what does Billy Napier have to do to keep his job? Well, like everyone else, Jackson, he's got to win. He's got to win. Now, as you know, I don't delve much into the extremes. A lot of folks have already sold Billy Napier and they've given up on him. I'm not there, but I do think everyone, including him, knows that it is a show-me year. And they're going to have to do it with the toughest schedule in the country. So that we know, and that'll be thrown in your face a million times before they kick it off. Where is he? He's 11-14 through 2 years as Florida's head coach. He's 6-10 in the SEC after being 40-12 at Louisiana. So the obvious fear in the room is, what if his skill set just doesn't translate to this level? What if he was good enough for the G5, but he's not good enough for the SEC? Heard it a million times. We just heard Auburn have to go through that with Brian Harsin. They're saying the same things about Napier right now. He's 1-5 against Georgia and Tennessee and FSU. Yeah, okay, so there's no opinion there. That's just fact. Now, let's get into the opinion of it. Some people have taken that and they've said, hey, 2 years in, like we'll give benefit of the doubt year one. 2 years in, didn't look a whole lot better last year. We're still below 500. A lot of the procedural stuff was just a mess. Special teams, a mess. You know, the hallmarks of not having things ratcheted up from a discipline standpoint, a lot of that was the biggest problem with Florida last year. So what he has to do this fall, I don't necessarily know if it's a specific number of wins that he has to have, but I'll tell you this year is 100% him. And Napier the other day at his press conference down at Florida, their opening spring practice, he said, I will tell you that for the first time, I think all of our systems are built. We've had quite a bit of change over the last couple of years. They have. And now he's had more staff churn. Defensively, specifically, they overhauled some things. They changed positions. But that's an admittance there. Even if you don't buy that it took this long, okay, that notwithstanding, Napier's telling you himself, this is my team. This year, it's my team. It reflects me. Vast majority of the roster are players that he brought in. Okay, he's telling you his philosophies are in place, and they've even been able to make some staff changes. So the whole point there is you're looking at a conveyor belt, and whatever comes out of the oven on that conveyor belt, that's Billy Napier. There is no more excuse of, I inherited this or I had to go through that, which is viable sometimes. That happens. And every situation is unique. And I'm not here to tell you otherwise. I'm here to tell you in year 3, you don't get to say that stuff. So their over-under win total is 5.5 this year. That's partly because their roster does not match other schools in the SEC at the premier level, but it's also because they have a nightmare schedule this year. So I got my own philosophy on this. I think Napier's a really good coach. Now there's two schools of thought here. I could just be wrong about that. It could be that his ceiling was succeeding at the G5 level. Like, that's possible. There's another possibility, though, that I'm right that he's a good coach, and he got himself in a situation where they got stuck in the mud out of the gate, tires just spinning. It doesn't matter what that vehicle's capable of. If its tires are spinning, doesn't matter what's under the hood. Doesn't matter how pretty the paint job is. And in the real world, if your tire's spinning and you otherwise got a high-performance automobile that's just stuck in the ditch, well, you call your buddy, you get it out of the ditch, and peel rubber, you're off. That doesn't happen in college football. You don't have time to call your buddy. You don't have time to say, hey, I need a couple of years. Hold on, just check back with me in 2026. You're unemployed long before then. So there's a world where Napier's a good coach, didn't press all the right buttons when he got there, then the next couple of years are spent undoing some of the bad decisions out of the gate. Well, that's it. That's all they give you. And so sometimes guys take jobs and they don't make the right calls at the outset. And they're good enough to win, but they don't make the right calls. They don't hire the right way. They don't install the right way. They don't set the right culture, and it results in tire spinning a little bit. And there is not Frank Beamer amounts of patience a la his time at Virginia Tech. They gave him over half a decade before he ever won more than 6 or 7 games. Well, they're not going to give Billy Napier that. So what does he have to do this year? You know, if you told me they're going 6-6 this year, my guess is that's not good enough. If they go 6-6 and every loss is by, one possession, I don't know that makes any difference, but I would know if you're competitive to within a touchdown with every game they got to play this year, whether you win 10 or you win 6, that's not easy. That's not easy to do. So, got a long time to talk about that, but criticism's valid. I'm not hating on Florida fans if they're critical of this. You guys invest. You guys do what's asked of you. You ought to have high expectations. I got no problem whatsoever with that. I don't think Billy Napier does. I think it bothers family and friends maybe a lot more than it does the guy himself. And you know what? Maybe we'll talk to Billy Napier in the not too distant future about that. So forget about what I say about it. Maybe we'll get him on the record about it.